My name is Milli. I'm going to be asking you some questions about Ready to Love because, I want to know, you have been so busy. And I got to ask you the first question. How do you balance your time as a producer, an actor, a comedian, a radio show host? And the list goes on. How do you balance all of that?
Oh my God. Patience is the first thing because it gets all balled up sometimes. It turns into a spider web, but trying to do it. I guess I've been doing it for so long that it's just a routine. I pop up in the morning, I do radio. And then when it's time to go shoot on the set, I go do it, come back, the weekends come around, you go do stand up. And I just try to stay healthy and keep my my energy together so I can get out and do it all. And then you got a family. Throw all that in there. We got to make the baseball game. We got to make this. We got to make that. So it's you just start juggling, and you got a lot of balls in the air, and you drop them every now and then. But for the most part, I got them up there.
Yes, you do. You have them up there, and you have been so diligently. You've been all over. You have been working. You are like, I won't say you a triple threat. You are like a quadruple, a 10-piece. You're like a 10-piece chicken nugget threat.
Woo! I like that. Look out, Chick-fil-A.
So let's talk about Ready to Love season 8. And this is one of the biggest seasons yet. I love the show. As a single myself, I think it showcases us as African Americans in a different light. So I want to ask you, what do you think putting in the work to find that special someone means?
You know what? You got to be willing to put in the time. I mean, a lot of these people that are on these shows haven't taken time for love. They've taken time for their careers, everything that's really driving them. But nobody has stopped and said, I want to find love. And nobody puts that in their day-to-day schedule and say, you know what? I'm gonna take some time out. This is about me. What this journey does is puts you in a situation where you gotta focus. You're looking for it. It's part of your routine now. So that's why this journey helps these 20 people along the way. And you get to see them really start to do what they don't do in their normal everyday life. So you have to take the time. If you don't take the time for love, you're not going to find it.
That's true. If you do not take the time for love, you will not find it. So why do you think people don't want to put in the work? Do you think that it is something that society is saying why we don't want to put in work compared to what our grandparents and our parents who have been married for 60 and 70 plus years? Why do you think people now don't want to put in the work?
You know what? I think people are not sure about the outcome, what they're going to get. I don't think they're trusting within themselves that, that they can find what they're looking for if they really want it. But it's about effort. You got to want to put that effort in. And a lot of people are just not up for the task. It's not something that they've been doing for so long that it's like, oh God, that's a whole nother job. So do I want this other job? Do I have time for this other job? Or am I willing to make time for this other job to get it? And there's a lot of people that just are not willing, just like, that's just a whole nother load. And I'm not ready for that. How can I just find somebody real quickly? You got to put in the work and the effort. And if you don't, you're gonna be just where you are.
Exactly. Just like how I am being single. And, I'm a Southern Belle, grew up and raised in Alabama, Tuskegee to be exact. And for me as a single person, what should be the number one quality that all single people should look for when it comes to, finding their special someone and finding their longtime partner?
You know what? You gotta be truthful and vulnerable and open up. Look for somebody that's just as open. And then guess what? You got to be real willing to accept their baggage along with your baggage. Because everybody's going to bring a little bit to the table. Now, listen, when we first get to the table, let's not dump all this baggage out at one time. That's going to scare all of us. If we both dump our bags out, we're going to be like, ooh, you got too much. You got too much. So let's just slowly, gradually get to it to the point where, like, you know what? I like what I see, but you know what? I need to let you know some things about me. Here's a little bit of my baggage. Give me some of your baggage. And let's just slowly get there. But let's like each other first. Let's just genuinely see if we like each other first. Then we start unloading. A lot of people come to the table. I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this. And next thing you know, like, okay, I ain't got time for all that. That's too much. Way too much. Take your time.
Exactly. Take your time. And that's what I'm doing. Like my grandmother said, hey, I had to really let your granddad know. And my grandparents were married 70 years before she passed.
Woo!
So that they gave me the blueprint. And my grandmother, she was a godly woman, but she let me know these are your red flags, honey. So
Yep.
you need to make
And
sure
pay attention to those flags.
yes, because
A lot of people see these flags and act like they don't see them.
mm-hmm.
You just keep driving and keep on driving, and then you get more flags and more flags. And I got some girls on my show. They be seeing these red flags and just keep right on going. I'm like, why? Why we keep going?
Exactly, like we saw with Mr. Habibi. Of course, so many red flags, and I felt like, okay, the first, when you're saying these obscene things to women, that is a total red flag. But some women like that. They like to be, treated like a piece of meat. Of course, me, I like class, and I'm always keep it class.
Exactly.
So what makes Ready to Love different from all of the other dating shows that we see, like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette? What makes it completely different from those shows?
This is the real deal. This is not, and I'm not knocking on any of the other shows. Those are good shows.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say Bachelor, Bachelorette, we're talking about a group of people that are in their 20s. You know what I mean? We're talking about some kids that are just starting life that haven't really experienced everything yet. Ready to Love is the real deal. We're talking people in 30s, 40s, some that are in their 50s. They've been around the block. They've been married. They're divorced. They got kids. They're single. They're career driven, and they boss ladies or boss men, and they are doing their thing. But now that they're a lot of them are established and got their lives together or where they want it, they're missing that one thing. They're missing love, and they want it. So these people are genuinely coming to try and find love, and they want that. So these are people been around the block and seen it all, and now say, you know what, I'm missing that one thing, and I really, really want it. So this is not your little 20-year-old, with the chiseled up body, and really you ain't figured life out yet. But if these people have figured life out and now they know what they want that companion that they're missing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. That's the difference.
I agree. And you know what? I never really watched those other shows. I'm geared more to this show because, of course, as African Americans, we want to find love and we deserve that. And I think this show is a fresh show that highlights all of that. Working women, working men that want to find love, and you see the genuineness on this show with you as a host. Now, what do you think is the biggest misconception that you have had so far, or people might have about dating shows?
You know what? I think a lot of people think, some people always ask me, did they know that was going to happen? Is this real? Is that real? Everything that you see is happening right there on the spot. Mm-hmm. It is real. It is legit. So that's why you see these emotions go from here to there, because these people are in the moment. This is not something that we wrote this down and said, say this. This is really happening right now, So this is not a scripted show. This is reality at its best, and we're giving it to you straight and giving it to you real.
Giving it to us straight with no chaser.
No chaser.
No chaser.
Nah.
Now, what can we expect from season 8 of Ready to Love? Because it started back. I mean, a bang in that first episode and second episode. What can we expect from this season of Ready to Love?
I got a few more curveballs for you. So get ready for that. I'm always throwing curveballs, but I think you're gonna see some transitions. Here's a person you thought that was solely over here. These two people, you're like, okay, I'm gonna follow them. And the next thing you know, boom, tornado. And they're totally not together at all and don't like each other. It's crazy. So it's amazing how when you focused on this is what we're doing and you on this journey every day, guess what? It's wide open and you get to see it. And you get to see the emotions and you get to see, okay, you know what? For 2 weeks, I like this guy. Mm-hmm. Now he's showing me his true colors. And what I like about you sitting at home on the couch, you get to see it too. And you're like, oh my God, he's changing. Now, that's not the way he was acting before. No. So you get to see it. And that's something, keep in mind, we're speeding up the process. These are the things that we want you to be able to see while you out there on yourself in the dating field.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you get to kind of see, oh my God, I saw this. I know where this is going. He finna change directions on me. So it's a good map for you at the house too.
Oh yes, I love it. I love to see how, the women get to go out on the dates and the men, and we looking out for those red flags. Because it's a lot in these 3 episodes I was watching. I was like Scooby-Doo. Like, wait a minute now, that's flag on a play like that. So with season 8, what do you think stands out about this season than all the other seasons before?
You know what I see within this season with my cast members? I just see a lot of determination.
Mm-hmm.
I see people determined on what they and they're standing on what they want, and nobody's wavering. Nobody's like making that adjustment of, oh, well, I could possibly bend a little over here. Everybody knows what they want,
mm-hmm.
and everybody is set on getting it. Now, do they find it? You got to keep watching. I can't give it to you.
Oh, you cannot give it to me yet, but I got to keep watching, and it's just on the 3rd episode. And I know this season, like you said, is going to be more curveballs, more red flags, more aha moments, more Scooby-Doo moments, all of that. So will there be any updates on any couples that actually found love this season? And are you in contact with them?
Well, from past seasons, yes. Past seasons, yes. I mean, you definitely got Clifton and Joy in the DC area that are going rolling strong, doing well. That makes me feel very, very, very good. You got, oh my God, what's her name? Reva. Reva and what's that little boy name? God, dog. Reva, and they were out of Atlanta. They're still rolling strong. I can't think of his name. I'm sorry. But so there's a few couples, and then there's some couples. What's crazy is there's some people that were, let's say I did an episode, a season in DC, the first one, right? And then I did the second one. There's people that connected from season 1 and then the second season that have come together. And you're like, wow. Exactly.
And that didn't happen on the show.
No.
Wow.
That's 2 different seasons.
Wow.
But they didn't clicked up in DC, and you're like, okay, I didn't know there was a connection there. So it starts to happen. It starts to happen because once they all get to know each other, the dating thing still keeps going even after the cameras are off.
And I agree, and I love that dynamic. But I do have to ask you, would there ever be like an all-star season of Ready to Love for the people that didn't find love, that that feel like I want to find love again? Will there ever be a all-star season of Ready to Love?
I will let Mr. Will Packer know that we need an all-star Ready to Love, or a return. Yes.
A return to Ready to Love, that who is now ready to love. Now, my last question, I know you have been to so many cities, 5 cities to be exact, in the last 8 seasons, and they have all been successful. And I got to ask the big question, because I feel like you are a part of the Alabama family.
Yep.
Will we ever see a Ready to Love Alabama?
Woo!
Yes.
Ready to Love Alabama. Let me think. Ready to Love Birmingham. Ready to Love Montgomery. Ready to love Huntsville.
Huntsville. I think we need to get that. I'm a Southern Belle, and I have to advocate for all my Southern Belles in Alabama. We are ready to find love in Alabama.
I tell you what, I would throw Alabama in the hat because there's a lot of cities and states going in the hat right now. So
yes,
we shall see.
We shall see, and I hope that it happens, because I need to sign up for myself to get on Ready to Love Alabama.
I got you. Now, if we get to Alabama, I'm putting you in the hat.
Oh, you got to put me in the hat, Mr. Miles. You got to put me in the hat. It was such a pleasure of talking with you and interviewing you, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.